It's official. Washington has hit a wall. The government is shut down. Millions of federal workers are stuck without pay, and Donald Trump just made one thing crystal clear. He's not talking. Yeah, you heard that right. Trump told Democratic leaders Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries that there will be no meeting, no negotiation, no photo op until the government reopens on his terms. Here's the kicker. This isn't just political theater anymore. It's an open standoff between the president and Congress, and the victims are ordinary Americans caught in the crossfire. The halls of Capitol Hill are frozen in silence while national parks close, tax offices go dark, and thousands of paychecks vanish into thin air. But this time, the shutdown isn't about numbers. It's about ego, power, and control. To understand the chaos, you have to go back to the start of this standoff. The new budget bill was supposed to keep the government open, a simple deal, but Democrats wanted one thing added: an extension of Affordable Care Act tax credits that help millions afford health insurance. Republicans refused. They pushed a stopgap bill without it, betting that Democrats would blink. They didn't, and now the government's doors are locked. For Trump, this is personal. He sees the shutdown as leverage, proof that Washington bends when he stops talking. For Democrats, it's a hostage situation. Federal workers and public services held ransom to score a political point. Schumer and Jeffries requested a meeting to break the deadlock. Trump refused, saying, and this is his exact line, "That single sentence set the tone for everything that followed. The president is framing dialogue itself as a reward, not a right, and that's something America has never seen before." The reaction was instant and explosive. Democrats accused Trump of abandoning leadership. Republicans hailed him for standing firm. And the media? They went into full-blown frenzy mode. Every outlet ran the same headline: Trump refuses to meet, shutdown deepens. CNN called it a deliberate act of defiance. Fox News called it a test of democratic resolve. Social media called it something else entirely: chaos in real time. On Capitol Hill, frustration turned into fury. Federal workers protested outside the White House with signs reading, "Pay us now." Agencies began furloughing staff. Airport security lines stretched for hours. And for millions of Americans, this wasn't politics anymore. It was survival. Inside the West Wing, the mood was defiant. Trump aides whispered to reporters that the president was ready to wait it out. One senior official told Politico he believes Democrats will cave first. The pressure will break them. But the data says otherwise. According to multiple polls, a majority of Americans blame Republicans for the shutdown. Trump's approval numbers dipped to their lowest since taking office. But he doesn't seem to care. Because for him, every clash is a loyalty test for his base, for his party, for the system itself.
Here's the twist. The shutdown is now one of the longest in U.S. history, and each passing day pushes more people into uncertainty. Families missing paychecks, small businesses losing contracts, military families waiting for benefits that never come. The ripple effects are everywhere. Food inspections delayed, air traffic controllers working without pay, student loan offices unstaffed, and as the tension builds, both parties are digging in deeper. Democrats are floating new legislation to restore ACA credits separately. Republicans are vowing to block it. Trump is tweeting daily, calling the Democrats reckless and desperate. And through it all, the clock keeps ticking. The longer this shutdown drags, the heavier the fallout. Economists are already warning of a multi-billion-dollar hit to the economy if federal spending doesn't resume soon. That's not politics, that's math. Every day of closure drains roughly $1 billion from productivity and consumer confidence. Think about that. $1 billion lost every 24 hours while Washington argues about who gets the last word. Democrats accuse Trump of governing by ultimatum. Republicans claim Democrats are holding up the nation over woke health subsidies. And neither side is backing down. The Senate floor is pure theater. Fiery speeches, slammed folders, walkouts. One Democrat shouted, "Open the government." A Republican fired back, "Then stop blocking the bill." It's politics as trench warfare. No movement, just damage. Meanwhile, ordinary Americans are watching their bills pile up. Furloughed workers are pawning belongings. Veterans can't get service appointments. National parks are closed. Trash piling up. Monuments fenced off.
Even the airlines are warning of disruptions because federal inspectors aren't on duty. The stock market, shaky. Investors don't like uncertainty. The bond market, nervous. Analysts are starting to whisper about credit ratings. And then came the escalation that really set off alarm bells. In a press conference, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said, "The president is playing a dangerous game with people's livelihoods. Every day this continues, the cost grows. And not just economic, it's about trust." Trump's reply? A tweet. "Democrats want chaos. I want order. I'll meet when the government opens. Until then, blame them." That post alone racked up millions of views, half cheering, half seething. And it captured the state of American politics in one line: total polarization. Political analysts warned this could be the breaking point, the moment when shutdowns stop being emergency tactics and start becoming weapons. If this becomes normalized, every future Congress could hold the government hostage for leverage. Every presidency could face paralysis. It's a formula for dysfunction, on repeat. Even within Trump's own party, cracks are showing. A few Senate Republicans, Collins, Murkowski, Romney, are whispering dissent. But publicly, no one dares cross him. Because in today's GOP, loyalty to Trump outweighs loyalty to process. Federal agencies are already preparing contingency plans in case this lasts another month. That's how serious it is. A senior Treasury official warned that prolonged shutdowns could delay IRS refunds and federal bond payments, a potential nightmare for markets.
The economic fallout isn't rhetoric anymore. It's visible, measurable, and real. And Democrats know they have one weapon left: public opinion. They're getting that as pressure builds, even Trump's allies will beg for compromise. But Trump is betting on something else entirely: fatigue. He knows Americans hate the chaos but get tired of the noise. The longer he holds out, the more it becomes background static. And when that happens, blame gets blurry. This is the chessboard he's built. Every move designed to drag the opposition deeper into exhaustion while he looks unmoved. But here's the part nobody's talking about. What happens if this standoff becomes the new normal? What if refusing to meet isn't the end of politics, but the new beginning of power? Here's the part nobody's talking about. What if this isn't just a shutdown, but a stress test for democracy itself? Because what's happening in Washington right now isn't gridlock, it's paralysis. And the longer it lasts, the more it reveals how fragile the entire system really is. For decades, shutdowns were warnings, signs that politics had gone off the rails but could still be fixed with negotiation. Now, negotiation itself has become the enemy. Trump's message is simple but seismic. I don't meet to compromise, I meet to win. Think about that. In the old playbook, the president and Congress would meet halfway. Now, halfway doesn't exist. It's my way or stay closed. This moment feels like history repeating, only louder. In 2018, Trump presided over what was then the longest shutdown in U.S. history. He vowed he'd be proud to shut it down. 7 years later, the same words echo through a more divided America. The players have changed, the rules haven't. Chuck Schumer warns of economic disaster. Hakeem Jeffries calls Trump's stance government by tantrum. But to Trump supporters, it's strength, a show of dominance against what they see as a broken establishment. And that's the paradox of Trumpism. What looks like chaos to half the country looks like control to the other half. The media calls this a shutdown crisis, but really, it's a mirror. It reflects what politics has become: outrage as strategy, humiliation as leverage. Both parties now campaign on who they can refuse to work with, not what they can build. And here's the dangerous truth: it works. Because in a world of tribal loyalty, stubbornness looks like courage, and compromise, it looks like weakness. So the shutdown isn't just about healthcare credits or budgets.
It's about pride, a commodity more powerful than any policy. The stakes are enormous. Roughly 3.5 million federal workers are watching their paychecks disappear. Thousands of contractors are out of work. Consumer confidence is plunging. And behind every number, there's a family wondering when the politics will stop and the pay will start. But inside Washington, the game goes on, and both sides think time is their weapon. Trump believes every extra day without a deal proves he's unbending. Democrats believe every missed paycheck turns public anger toward him. And somewhere between those calculations, real people are bleeding financially.
There's a moment in every crisis when people stop asking who's right and start asking what happens now. We're there. Because a government that can't pay its own workers or keep its doors open isn't just inefficient, it's unstable. The Founding Fathers never imagined a president who would refuse to meet Congress during a shutdown. That's the constitutional crack showing through the paint. If this becomes precedent, imagine the future. Every party that controls the White House will be tempted to use the shutdown weapon not to balance budgets, but to break opponents. Democracy, by definition, needs conversation. But what happens when one side just walks away and calls it strength? The markets are already watching nervously. Analysts estimate that if this shutdown lasts another month, the GDP hit could rival that of a natural disaster. Federal aid freezes. Small businesses collapse. It's not hyperbole. It's math, and it's ugly. And yet Trump's base cheers. Why? Because they see Washington suffering. In their eyes, pain in D.C. means power returning to the people. It's emotional politics, a rebellion disguised as governance. That's what makes this so volatile. It's not a policy debate. It's identity warfare. Democrats are defending institutions. Trump is dismantling them. And both are convinced they're saving America. History has seen government crises before. Nixon's Watergate standoff, Clinton's budget fight, Obama's debt ceiling wars. But this one's different. Back then, leaders argued within the system. Now the fight is over the system itself. Nixon tried to stonewall investigators. It ended in resignation. Clinton clashed with Newt Gingrich. It ended in a deal. But Trump, he's rewriting the script live. No resignation, no deal, just escalation. He's weaponized the idea that confrontation is purity, and it's working, at least politically. Polls show his approval among Republican voters hasn't budged. In a divided nation, chaos has become currency. Meanwhile, Democrats are playing defense, warding of economic fallout, begging for compromise, trying to sound reasonable in a world that doesn't reward reason anymore. And that's their biggest weakness. Because here's the kicker. Outrage dominates airtime. Logic doesn't trend. Scenario 1, the deal that breaks no one. Under mounting pressure, moderate Republicans broker a small compromise, a stripped-down funding bill that reopens the government without touching the ACA credits. Trump claims victory. Democrats declare relief. Everyone saves face, but the damage lingers. Another precedent of brinkmanship burned into the system. Scenario 2, the shutdown that redefines power. Trump holds the line. Weeks turn into months. Federal workers revolt. Markets dive. Eventually, Congress passes a veto-proof funding bill overriding him. He claims betrayal, calls it the swamp's revenge. The political fallout becomes nuclear. The 2026 elections turn into a referendum on whether democracy should bend or break. Scenario 3, the spiral. No one caves. The shutdown drags on. Agencies close permanently. The debt ceiling looms. America's credit rating dips. Foreign investors lose confidence. And somewhere in the chaos, the rest of the world starts whispering, maybe America isn't the sure bet it once was. Each road leads to the same destination, a weaker system and a more divided nation. What's happening right now isn't just about Trump. It's about the normalization of dysfunction, turning crisis into campaign strategy. Every headline, every shutdown, every walkout chips away at trust. And once trust is gone, no law can rebuild it. Democracy doesn't collapse in a day. It corrodes slowly, quietly, under the weight of cynicism. And this shutdown is another crack in that foundation. For the first time, America isn't just asking, when will the government reopen? It's asking, does anyone even want it to? That's the haunting part, because power used to be about responsibility. Now it's about resistance. The system that once rewarded compromise now rewards defiance. And Trump knows it. That's why he's not blinking. He's betting that outrage outlasts outrage fatigue. That America, already addicted to conflict, won't punish him for feeding it. They'll thank him for it. So here we are, day after day of frozen paychecks, shuttered offices, political grandstanding, and finger-pointing. And the message from the top? No meeting, no negotiation, no surrender. The U.S. shutdown isn't just a budget dispute anymore. It's a mirror showing what happens when politics becomes performance. So what do you think? Is this leadership or the slow death of governance? Is Trump proving a point or proving democracy can be held hostage? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear what side you're on. Because this fight isn't ending in Washington. It's spilling into every home, every paycheck, every conversation in the country.
Like, share, subscribe, because this story isn't done. The next headline might not be about a government shutdown. It might be about a system that forgot how to open back up.